Question number 10, the Honourable David Parker.
Point of order, Mr Speaker.
Point of order, the Honourable David Parker.
Mr Speaker, I seek leave to hold over my question to a day when the Minister of Foreign Affairs is in the House.
Leave is sought for that course of action. Is there any objection? There is objection. The Honourable David Parker.
Mr Speaker, my question is to the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Does he agree with the Auditor-General's finding regarding the Saudi sheep deal that his Cabinet paper had significant shortcomings and Cabinet was provided a, quote, lack of robust analysis? If so, does he accept responsibility for failing to provide Cabinet with a robust analysis and quality information?
Mr Speaker.
The Honourable Todd McClay.
Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Minister, I agree with all the findings of the Auditor-General's report, particularly the finding that the arrangements entered into were a lawful use of public resources and public money was spent with appropriate financial authorities in place.
Order.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, the Honourable David Parker.
Did the Minister of Foreign Affairs seek advice from the Attorney-General on whether there was any realistic prospect of any legal claim by Al-Khalaf succeeding before paying him $4 million cash and paying $6 million for a farm in the desert?
The Honourable Todd McClay.
Mr Speaker, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade's Legal Division provided advice on the issue relating to the Food Security Partnership. I cannot say more about that content of that advice. To do so would waive legal privilege, which is not the government's practice. However, what ministers have said previously is that MFAT officials advised that Mr Al-Khalaf had received advice suggesting he could pursue a claim between $20 and $30 million. This advice was reflected in the February 2013 Cabinet paper, and this is also acknowledged in the Auditor-General's report on page 8, where the AG found was a matter of fact that the Al-Khalaf group indicated that it considered it should be paid compensation of $24 million.
Point of order, Mr Speaker.
Rather than repeat we've got two courses of action. I can just explain that the question was, did the Minister seek advice from the Attorney-General? So the answer was very interesting, but it certainly hasn't in any way tackled the question.
Mr Speaker. Thank you. Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Minister, I don't have all of that information before me, but what may assist the Minister, the member, is that the government did not fully scope the risk associated with litigation or a compensation negotiation because we had, from the outset, ruled out this option. The Cabinet paper did not analyse the consequences of a process that had been expressly ruled out.
Supplementary question?
There's no point asking more supplementaries of the Minister here, sir.
We move to question.